choir's here and the pews are empty.
You did mention that you feel like you're everywhere right now, and just, so there you are again.
A little bit, yeah. He's waiting on the council members.
Normally we would start at 9:30, but Louis said that he needed to start at 9, so. I will send him an email, a work email. Do you have the ability to text them,
The
council members?
I do not.
Okay.
Oh, there's Michael. Yeah, we're just waiting on for CDBG.
Yep.
Waiting on council.
Yep.
For that.
I was told I would be clerking this meeting, so that's why I'm here.
Well, welcome.
And then Terry said, nope, I got this, and I went, okay. Well, I thought I'd stop by and say goodbye to Rocha and George Walker, because yesterday when I was here for the meeting we had here, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. So didn't want to just manage one. I just want, yeah, I told you I'd see you tomorrow 9, so here I am. But Terry says she's got it, so okay. Cool.
I'm doing well.
Well, I have in my, I don't know if you were aware, I'm having my foot operated on. Not tomorrow Friday, but in case Friday.
Oh,
So
well, I hope all goes well.
Thank you. I do too. Well,
Is it going to put you out of commission?
for about 2 weeks. But I should be back with a cane for a while.
Okay.
It's all worked out because, you know, beginning of the year, it's the second, so I might miss one. Not too many. I'll talk to Stephanie.
Considerations of power.
I was supposed to have this done in December, right before the December break. But they said, oh, your sugar's the day before. No, your sugar's too high. Let's work on getting that down. So I have to go today to show my sugar down. So I was going to talk to us because they want me to do a EKG and do a heart rhythm, so dial. But 4 years ago, I had this happen before. I don't know if you know, I used to work for I used to find telephone poles and I was upstairs. But I somehow injured my foot, probably fractured it or something. And when bones rub against each other, they create friction and calcium. And so that's what I had caused my foot. What it was doing was all the nerves and things was swelling in the face. It was hurting because the slip over. When I rolled past there, somebody down, Sanders, she just gives me a deal, come. But then I closed it up. Like I'll do that. 5 years later, went back and it's the
Same thing.
Yeah, so he said he's going to fuse all the
I think it was on 90 matches.
rubbing.
Well, again, wish you the best.
So after this, I'm just going to go to the hospital and do all their tests. Especially because, you know, the day after council meeting, there's really not much we need to do until next week when we start compiling the agenda. And then we said, oh, why not, you know, we've got that meeting yesterday, We could try to schedule. I have to. All these things I've never done. I exhibit at my Christian Day. Yeah, I won chicken strips. But I showed up and Terry says, no, I got this.
Oh, okay.
Terry's got it. So I just wanted to say hi and let you know.
You're good.
Oh, yeah.
Just so that Stephanie monitors.
Oh, yeah.
So when it's, on the agenda where it says, introduction to staff, to me, and then I'll.
Nothing's going on, and, you know, I can answer my emails from home. That's usually what I do during the week in my office hours. Emails and make sure, oh, we need this done. Oh, okay, I'll print it out, scan it, or what. That's pretty much it. Yeah, a couple of days ago, I had to monitor my blood. They gave me one of those little things that sticks in your arm. That's what you were telling me. So, long story short, I'm not coming into work today. I'm on medication, but I can do all my emails and I can do, I have my laptop. I mean, so she, yeah, I said, okay, stay home. Show me. I said, yeah, I'll be in tomorrow. I'm stressed out and clean up. But I can answer my emails, and if you need anything, text me, and I'll text you back. Yeah, that's one nice thing about what I do. I can do remotely. But I show up just because it's nice to, yeah. You get in the work frame when you're wearing the suit, and you're active.
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
Plus, you know, I stay in touch. I have a lot of people. Your brain's kind of not really working, kind of thing. You know, it's a discipline. I like to. Yeah. Kind of like at AT&T. They offer people to work remotely from home. You dispatch from home. You just wake up, you have the truck at your house, you hit the dispatch button, and you just go straight to your first stop. No, I like coming into the office, seeing the manager, seeing everybody, you know, what are we doing today, and what, oh, this happened here yesterday, blah, blah, blah. You know, it gets you in the mind frame of you're there. It's a discipline. I like getting present. Well, that and it puts you in the frame of being more serious about it. Take it more serious.
I look at those little scooter things, you know.
No, I love wearing a suit. I don't, that's what I've always wanted.
I would probably crash.
I don't understand the mindset that some people complain, I'm in a cubicle. What are you talking about? You're sitting down.
Yes,
You're in an air-conditioned room, be outside in Lodi and we're in 16 degrees, climbing a pole, having someone yell at you, well, I don't want it, and having, you know, avoiding dog poop while carrying a 8-pound ladder. I'd rather sit in an office any day else. That's why when I got this job, I was like, okay, what do you want me to do? Yeah, this is perfect environment. I love it. Air conditioning. Yeah, I love it.
Funding once the NEPA, and all of the federal requirements have been satisfied.
I mean, they're keeping up.
Again, we hope some level of approval quicker.
Been over 3 weeks, so I was
Yeah,
just concerned,
yeah.
because, you know, she had some health issues a while back.
Yeah, I don't
It still has to,
support
approve it till the NEPA and all the
And
federal
then we have,
requirements are
we have to
set.
approve that, initially.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
and that's the one that
That's
can't
the-
happen until, so that'll probably be.
So at least we can do the pre-authorization or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Yeah.
provisional, I guess we call it.
No, no, I've got my phone, I've got my laptop, I'm gonna check my emails in a
Right,
couple
and
hours.
that's gonna be using,
Take care of
that's
that.
using that.
Take care of that.
And then we still have it,
Yeah, all right.
All right. I'll see you around, Michael. Have a good day.
Oh, no, it was 1 point.
1.3, okay, got it.
Yeah.
I was getting that mixed up with Grace Hall.
Ah, okay,
And that one's still, I think that one's still in the queue, I think that's
Yeah,
still.
yeah, yeah.
All right, just trying to clarify it on.
Yep.
I have notes in here, but in my mind, I recall these conversations.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right, then, well, Tamisha should be here, for some reason she doesn't come, I'll just go ahead and share it.
Can,
Yeah.
you know, that's a good question, can we even have it?
Well, I know
If
she told me
both-
she told me she's coming, so I saw her, so
That's
I'll
a
see you
city
tomorrow.
clerk's office question. Can you have a committee of two if one is not there? Can we have a committee meeting?
We could probably hold the meeting, but we probably can't, we probably wouldn't be able to take any action.
Okay.
Would be my guess,
Okay,
because it takes, that's a good question, because it's not a council meeting.
And I'll verify. I mean, let's hope
Yeah,
that
I mean, what we could do
she's-
is we could still conduct like introductions, what we're here to do, but in regard to action, I don't know if we can take any action if the two of us aren't here. So
that would be my guess too.
yeah, so let me see if I can get, a hold of Bessie, Tamisha, see if she can come.
Sounds like a plan, thank you, Louis.
While you're doing that, I'll verify a couple.
Yeah, I'm calling Tamisha right now, it's just.
We're hoping that she's gonna make it.
Yeah. Hey, Tamisha, this is Louis, just checking in. I'm here at City Hall and waiting for my co-pilot to arrive. Let me know if you're on your way, because I don't know if you can run to, without going to the studio. So give me a call back, or I'll see you in a few minutes. Thanks. I noticed here, is this from you?
Yes.
Can I see, this is the Canada Scanning Committee, there's a note on there that says request to move up item 6.
That's not us.
Oh,
The other
that one
one's
isn't
us.
us.
The one
So
you're
is
holding.
this message from you though?
No.
Oh, so because there must have been a standing committee meeting on cannabis,
There was
and there's a
probably
message
something
with item
else.
6 up, so that's not from you.
No.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
in the, oh, okay, off to the junction. Okay, sure. Yes, thank you.
You didn't answer?
Yes, sir, I did. So ultimately, if both of you are not here, you will not be able to vote on things or take action.
Yeah, so we can go through items, carry on, but in terms of any action of making commitments with funding, that would be.
Or recommendations to council?
Yeah.
Correct, that would have to wait.
Okay.
And this would be, so I don't mean to interrupt you, sir, this would ideally be more informal discussion,
Oh, okay.
so.
So we wouldn't be taking, roll or doing anything like that?
No, I think we still would do that.
Still do that,
Yeah, we
correct.
still- Yeah, we would still
Yeah.
run the meeting, because I've been in meetings before where you don't have a quorum,
Okay,
but you run a meeting, but it's more of, you're not able to take any action because you don't have
got it.
your majority. Yeah, so like, it was just like at a city
Yeah.
council meeting, if we had only, say, 2 of us, we would still run the meeting, but we wouldn't be able to vote or take any
Okay,
action.
that makes sense.
So it is more information.
Gotcha. We can do that.
But Tanisha could show up anytime, so if she does, then we know that we can, at the end, we can make some recommendations.
Okay, that sounds good.
So is this being, is there somebody in the back wanting to let know that we're starting, or is this being videotaped?
It's being live streamed, yes.
It is being live
Yeah.
streamed, and I believe they're not in
I
the
don't
back.
see anybody inside.
Downstairs.
Oh, are they down?
He's working on, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know if he's gotten it actually started?
yes, she said she was starting the live stream.
Okay,
So it's
It is
not-
getting started?
yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead and get started then?
you're ready to go.
Okay.
Absolutely. I did, yeah. I just gave them down. Okay, perfect.
Okay, this is Louis Rocha, council member from District 2, and I'm on the standing committee for the CDBG. What we'd like to do is to start with roll call. It is 9:30 a.m.
Councilmember Rocha,
Here.
Councilmember Torres Walker
She-
is absent.
She's absent at this time, but we'll keep track if she shows up here in a few minutes. So the first item I look here is consent calendar. So approval of so we're not going to, one of the things without us having a quorum is we're not going to be able to approve the minutes or take any type of action in terms of approvals. So we'll put that on hold for now. So what we'll do as we proceed forward is if we'll go into sharing information about CDBG, where we're at, we'll go through our protocol, our agenda here. But in terms of action items, whether we're approving the minutes or any type of recommendations, we will not be able to do that unless both Councilmember Torres Walker and I are here to do that. So we'll go ahead and get started. We are going to move on beyond approval of Community Development Block Grant Standing Committee minutes from September 5th. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and move into new business. So do we have any public comments? Members of the public may comment only on unagendized items.
We have a public comment, but it's on agenda item number 4.
Okay, thank you. Next, item 2, I'd like to have introductions of housing staff. So I'd like to turn that back over to you, Terry.
Thank you, Councilmember Rocha. I am very excited to be able to say that we now have a fully staffed housing division as I prepare to exit my role in the city. And so it's my honor to introduce our new housing manager, Licia, and she will tell you all about herself.
Thank you, Terry. Good morning, everyone. My name is Licia Villalta, and I am the new housing manager for the city of Antioch. And I just wanted to share that my path into this work really comes from being close to communities and wanting to build systems that actually work for people. Before joining Antioch, I was with the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles, where I helped lead programs focused on housing stability, as well as workforce opportunity and expanding access to resources for residents. Now in Antioch, we are so excited to build and strengthen our housing division finally with Terry's exit. We are really sad to see her go and retire and enjoy her retirement, but we are also very excited at the same time because we are a growing team focused on connecting housing, community resources, and partnerships in a way that truly are going to support the residents here at Antioch and really focus on preventing homelessness. I was just at a conference, at the housing conference at the state level last week, and really the policymakers are really thinking about how do we really prevent homelessness. And so our team is already doing that work. And so our goal is to really strengthen that goal at the city of Antioch. I am really grateful to be here, and I'm really looking forward to working alongside the committee and really getting this work started and continue to do the things that we've been doing here at Antioch already to Terry. So, and now I will introduce my team.
Do you want to come up to the microphone and just introduce yourself? Thank you. And welcome, Licia. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, Mayor Pro Tem Mayor Rocha. My name is Dalia Pedroza, and I joined the city of Antioch about 3 years ago. I started in the rent program. So the rent program is basically a department where we deal with questions and we process petitions related to rent increases, housing services, and of course, landlords seeking a fair rate of return. But before I came here to Antioch, I was already working on the tenant landlord and fair housing programs during my time with Echo Housing. And during my time with Echo Housing, I also worked alongside with a former legal aid attorney, Mr. David Levin, who we both worked on eviction defense. Now, moving forward, I continue to work on the tenant landlord and fair housing with the city of Antioch. And what I bring to Antioch is I am a HUD certified housing counselor, and I completed a 2-year paralegal studies, which I am now a state certified legal assistant. And just last year, I received my commission as a notary, so I bring these additional services to the city to help move our team forward. My goal is to educate families, tenants, and landlords knowing about their rights in the rental housing, and also so that they can receive the information, attain it, and assert their housing rights. This way they can have a better quality of life. So I would end with that, and now I'm going to bring in Maisha, my new co-worker.
Thank you, Delia, and I've enjoyed working with you with CDBG throughout the year.
Good morning,
Good morning.
council member, committee members. My name is Maisha Stewart. I am the second housing services coordinator that's been hired for the city of Antioch. I believe this is my 15th day at work, so I'm fresh to Antioch, but my history includes working for the city of Oakland for 17 years in hunger and homelessness programming. I am very passionate about finding housing solutions for the unsheltered community. I am an Antioch resident for the last 10 years, and I'm very excited about creating change in the community where I reside. I'm also very passionate about finding housing solutions for families who are experiencing homelessness within our city and in our county. And I'm just excited to be here, excited to be working with Licia and Terry and Delia, who's been, a big help just with me starting here.
Well, welcome to the team.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And it goes without saying, Terry will be definitely hard to replace. I mean, with all of the knowledge, experience, training, history, you actually retired years ago, but you've continued. Like me, I'm retired, but I'm still kind of working, if you see here today. But Terry, I just want you to know, in the short time I've been on the council, and even when I first met you, my mother, Mary Rocha, who's been involved in community actions for years, whether it be youth and families, education. She was mayor at one time, city council member, and now she currently serves on the school board. When I brought your name up, she had nothing but great things to say about your talents, about your knowledge, and your experience. So I want to thank you for your service. You'll be greatly missed. Hopefully the team of 3 can replace the historic job you've done as one. So thank you.
And exceed.
Yeah, okay. Well, okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to item number 3, second-year renewal process.
Well, as you know, we have a process in the Contra Costa area where the consortium, which is a grouping of the cities of Antioch, Pittsburgh, Concord, Walnut Creek, and Contra Costa County, have instituted a 2- and then 3-year funding cycle for every 5-year consolidated plan. This year is a second-year renewal process where no new applications were taken at that time, but the agencies that were funded for the first year would receive an automatic renewal of funding for the second year as long as they're meeting their contractual obligations. I have detailed in the staff report how everyone is doing, all of the agencies are doing as of the second quarter progress reports that are submitted to us. The third quarter progress reports will be submitted on April the 15th, and so we won't have that data until then. Primarily, as you'll see, everyone is meeting or exceeding their goals. There are a few exceptions. We are aware of all of those exceptions, have talked to all of those executive directors and program staffs, and we understand the reasons why some are behind their goals. Most feel that they will be able to reach their goals by the time the end of the quarter comes. We are satisfied with their progress and are recommending that all of the agencies do receive the renewal funding at this time.
Yeah, from looking at it briefly and from last year's report, it appears that the goals, the target of percentage of getting to 100, whatever their target was, looks like most of them are well on their way to meeting that target of 100% or exceeding their target. So
That is correct.
Okay. And that's how it was last year, too. It was really nice to see that most of the programs, I think it was only maybe 1 or 2, fell a little bit short, and there were some reasons for that. But my recollection was that probably 98 or 99% of our programs met all of their targets in regards of serving the number of population that they had as a goal.
Good memory.
So it's nice to see that that's continuing to be the case here.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I don't know, are there any public comments on this particular item? I don't see it written in here, but generally we ask for public comments if there's any. I don't see anybody. Okay, so we'll move on to, so you're now looking at, are you moving into item B, review?
I will just say one final thing about the next funding cycle. The 3-year funding cycle will be coming up for fiscal years 2027, 28, 28, 29, and 29, 30. Those applications will come out in October, usually the first week in October of this year, and they will be due around the first week of December in the year. If any nonprofit agency is interested in becoming aware of that and being on the mailing list, please give us a note to let us know that. You can email us at cdbg@antiochca.gov, and we'll be happy to submit your name and information on your agency to the county, who maintains a master list of all interested parties. We do an email blast to over 500 different individuals and agencies, so that it is pretty widely distributed when we do collect applications. And we will have the whole application process that the CDBG committee is familiar with. That will be occurring then in next year in January, February, March, so that you can make new decisions on applicants for the federal and the state funding.
So if I recall, that would be, when I first came on the standing committee, that was a time when we first met and looked at the number of applications and those that were renewals and those that were new applications, and then we went through the process of review and making decisions about funding. Okay.
That is correct.
Yeah, just kind of recalling how last year rolled out to where we, okay, got it. Okay. Item number 4, overview of agency mid-year progress.
All of that is in the staff report.
Okay.
I don't think I need to review anything. We kind of combined that with number 3, and so I believe we're good for that.
Moving on to an important item, 5, funding available and discussions of fiscal year 2025-26 amendment.
Okay, well, we had hoped by this time that we would have a word from HUD about the amount of our allocation for next year. Unfortunately, due to the budget delays at the federal level, we do not yet know what our allocation is going to be. The budget at the federal level was renewed for HUD at the same level as last year, so we believe that the amount of the allocation should be relatively stable. However, if more agencies have, or if more jurisdictions have applied to receive HUD CDBG funding, our share of the pie could be a bit smaller. We don't anticipate at all that it would be larger. So the more likely scenario is that it will be the same, similar, or very slightly smaller. Given that, some of the other funds, so let me backtrack. What that means then for our federal funding for the agencies is that the public service and economic development projects should all be relatively similar in funding to last year, and we would be recommending then that they be funded at that same level. And I do have a couple of scenarios in case it's more or less than last year. We have had as we do every year, shifting funding around for housing projects and for homeless projects, so I will go into more detail on that. So on page 9 of the staff report, you'll see that we expect there to be right now $911.40 in the CDBG entitlement funds. We do have residual funds from the Hope Solutions project that was not able to move forward, a big housing project, of $1,523,815, of which we're recommending, or we've kind of been able to assign to projects about $1,200,000. In PLHA funds, we're expecting $445,851. That is a combination of 2 different years, the 2 last years of the 5-year program. And in housing successor funds, at this point, we're expecting about $690,000 for expenditures, for a total being recommended of $3,246,891. That leaves us with only $323,815 of CDBG in residual funds, which is an acceptable balance. We don't need to feel like that is going to make us go over our cap on how much funds we can have on hand by the federal government. I'd like to show you, if we would look at attachment A, which is the way that the funds are distributed, I can show you more about how we have made any changes that might occur in these funds. So on page 12 is attachment A, and all of the homeless programs are being recommended at the same level of funding as before, with the exception of the addition of H 2.5, which is renter protections eviction prevention. As you'll recall, for the last 3 years, this function of renter protection and also fair housing has been funded entirely from the coronavirus funds from CDBG. So we were able to, because of the immense impact that the coronavirus had on our community, HUD did allocate extra funds to help prevent people from becoming homeless, from losing their housing. And so we were able to fund a position that brought all of our fair housing and rental services into the city of Antioch. We are able to continue that now with the housing successor funds. Previously, in previous years, we were limited for housing services to $250,000 under housing successor laws. However, those were amended in this past year to raise that limit from $250,000 to $500,000 for homeless services. And certainly these the renter protections and eviction prevention fall into that category. So in that category, we're recommending $150,000 to continue the work that we are doing here at the city of Antioch. That brings the allocation recommended there to $405,000 for housing successor funds. As we move down to CD1, General Safety Net Public Services, and CD2, Special Needs Populations, all of those remain the same with the allocation as in the previous year, as long as our CDBG allocation is the same. Youth services as well, CD3, all remain the same. In fair housing, however, that is where we no longer have the CV funds. So fair housing, we're recommending an additional $35,000 from housing successor administration funds. That is an allowable cost, but only from administration on the housing successor side. Then the economic development funds all remain the same recommendation. And administration of the various programs is set at the maximum limits for allowed for each of the different funding sources. Once we move down to our housing programs, AH2, the home ownership program for this coming year is slated to all be from the PLHA funds. And if you'll turn over the page on the back of that, the Habitat Housing Rehabilitation Program is entirely then from the CDBG funds and some of the leftover residual funds from the Hope Solution grant. We also have a potential project in reserve to utilize some of those excess funds, which is the Home Key Hotel conversion. I wasn't sure if we would need 750, 850, but we have set aside $850 in case that amount is needed. And that is really just to show that there is funding that is available. The City Council cannot take any action on this funding, recommend funding or commit funding until all of the federal requirements, such as the National Environmental Policy Act or NEPA requirements, have been satisfied. So at the point that those are all ready to go, then Council then can consider the action about the amount for this if the project moves forward from the state level. Additionally, we have a recommendation that the CDBG committee has discussed before of allocating additional funds for the Habitat project for this year. As you will recall, they applied for more money than what we thought we had at the time that we made the allocations. However, more funding was made available to us when the Hope Solutions project did not move forward. They are able to utilize another $200,000 for this year. That would constitute a substantial amendment, and we do have funding to be able to fund that commitment and go forward with more loans for our residents. And so that would be an action that could be taken simultaneously with the city council meeting on May the 12th, and we would be able to award it to them if that meets with this body's approval.
Okay. And what was the dollar amount for that?
200,000.
Okay, 200,000. Okay. Okay. Does that conclude 5?
That does conclude 5, thank you.
Okay.
And we have a public comment
Sure.
that was on 4. I apologize.
Oh, I thought it was 6.
Let's see.
I thought I heard you say 6.
It could be 6.
Yeah.
We could, 6 would be okay.
Okay.
If-
Public comment? Yeah, come on up. Yeah. Sorry if it was supposed to be 4. I had written down 6.
That's okay, no worries. Good morning,
Good morning.
Councilmember Rocha. Good morning to our CDGB committee. Welcome to the team, to all of you. We're looking forward to working together, and of course, we'll miss you, Terry. Good morning, my name's Alexis. I'm here on behalf of Opportunity Junction, and I just wanted to first our sincere gratitude to the committee for the funding over the years that's really helped support our work. I just wanted to report today that with Q3 around the corner, we have just placed our 2 Antioch placements with employer partners, so we will be up to speed and have met our goals. And just quickly wanted to share a quick success. One of our most recent placements, she came to us working minimum wage, minimal hours with no benefits at all. And after coming through our program, our administrative careers training program, she's been placed with one of our employer partners, full-time position, working 40 hours a week, has benefits. And since her initial placement with this partner, she's been promoted or received a raise 3 times already. So it's amazing just the work that's possible with this funding, and we're just truly grateful for your support. So thank you.
Oh, I appreciate you sharing. It's always nice and rewarding to hear the positive success that these programs, how they're benefiting our community. I've had the opportunity to go to your program and hear from almost testimonials about how people's lives have been impacted with the work that's being done there. So great job. Thank you for sharing that with us, and hope we continue to work together in partnership.
Yes, thank you very much. We really appreciate you guys.
Thank you. So item 6 is development of draft 26-27 annual action plan.
We've reviewed now what we would consider the draft action plan with the information that we have right now. What do we do? And since we can't really take any action here, I'll be able to tell you what we think that we can do in case money is less or more than what we anticipate it being. Just 1 second here, let me find that. Okay, so this is from the staff report on page 11. If the CDBG grant is the same as, or if it is more than the $911.40 that we received last year, up to $200,000 more, which would be a miracle if it could ever reach that amount, the public services grants, which comprise 15% of the grants, and the economic development grants, I would propose that they would remain the same for the second year of renewal funding, that we not make any changes. The likelihood is if we receive an increase, it would likely be no more than $50,000 to $75,000 more. And that is certainly an amount that we are able to just absorb and keep for the next allocation of funding, and that would all then be expended in your next round of funding, which would give you a little more flexibility there. And our nonprofit partners are expecting the same amount of renewal funding, so it wouldn't be an impact to their programs, it would not result in a decrease in services to our Antioch residents, which is the most important thing. And we would, as far as the administration, that would remain the same at 20% of the grant. And any excess that then would be invested in the housing rehab and Antioch home ownerships proportionally to whatever the need is and their ability to actually spend the funds during the course of the year. And any other residual funds then would just be kept for the allocation in the 27-28 funding cycle. The more likely scenario is that the CDBG grant would be less than our allocation for 25-26. In this scenario, the public services are limited to no more than 15% of the grant. So when the grant itself is reduced, our public services allocations have to go down because we allocate right at that 15%. We allocate every cent that we possibly can. In this past year, we allocated 2 agencies to receive slightly more than the standard $10,000 that we use as our grant minimum. And just so you know, the $10,000 grant minimum is a standard that's been adopted by all of the consortium jurisdictions, so that is county-wide. The proposal would be that if we receive a reduction in funding, the 2 agencies that received more than $10,000 would be first reduced to $10,000 to put them on a level playing field with the rest of the grants. And after that point, that all of the grants proportionately would be reduced to achieve the 15% maximum allocation for public services. And as you look on the action plan funding chart, attachment A, that would mean that it affects the general safety net services. It affects the special needs populations, youth, and youth, just those 3 categories. Economic development can remain the same because it is not affected by the 15% grant maximum. And home ownership opportunities, that can remain the same depending on how much money we lose in that process. It would be reduced only proportionally to how much money we have available. So
Just to clarify,
yeah.
you said CD1, CD2,
and CD3.
and CD3, correct?
Yes, those all fall under the public services category. And you can see under the youth category, it says total all CDBG public services allocated, and there's a dollar amount there. That's to remind us that we can't exceed the flat 15% of the grant that we're given.
Okay. Does that conclude 6?
That concludes 6.
Well, thank you. That's very helpful. Now, I think you said the meeting where decisions could be made by the city council would be on May. Did you say May 12th?
We are hoping that it will be May 12th. That is our goal, as long as HUD gets their allocations to us by April 10th, which is expected.
So it's due April 10th is when we're supposed to get it from HUD? The notification?
We expected it 2 days ago, but
Okay. So that's the target, is May 12th is when we would hope to.
on May, yes, and April 10th, that date is when the newspaper ad needs to be published to provide 30 days public comment on the draft action plan. We can publish that with a provisional allocation and a strategy for increasing or decreasing the grant. As I've just outlined to you, that can be included in the public notice. But the City Council cannot take action to approve the action plan until we have real numbers.
Now, if we don't receive real numbers on the 10th, it just pushes the date further out? Is that how I'm?
It doesn't have to. We can publish the notice without the real numbers.
Okay, got it.
But council just can't approve the action plan without the real numbers. So that does buy us another 30 days to get the HUD allocation notice.
Okay. Okay, thank you for the report. At this time, are there any public comments on the report that's been shared? Not hearing any or seeing any, okay. Okay, so we just talked about, so the CDBG Standing Committee received public comment. We've done that. Consider agency performance and draft annual action plan and finalize recommendations for funding which constitute the action plan for council consideration on May 12, 2026. We're not able to take any action today, but I have taken notes. We have a record of what's been shared today that we can then as a council review and make some definitive recommendations as a group, okay? Okay, are there any written or oral communications that we received?
No, there are not.
Okay, well, if there's no other action to be taken, then I'll go ahead and move to adjourn this meeting at, it looks like it's 9:47.
And the meeting is concluded then at 9:47. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Okay.
Thank you. Nice presentation. I took a lot of notes. Helps me understand better where things stand. I wish we had more clarity. I know there's a lot of balls in the air right now. But it's not, we have a good plan, just, one way or the other, right?
We've had
When
to
it
do
goes
this
up and down, we
before.
have a plan, right?
Yeah, we've had to do this before we had, and this works, so
Yeah.
yay.
So is this your actual last time here doing this?
For the CDBG committee, I'm sure, yeah, because the next one will be the paper unless you all decide you want to do something else, but we'll communicate that with Lisa.
Well, I hope we have you help us as much as possible.
I'll be with you.
It's one of those things that, yeah, it's one of those things that, like my mom, I mean, she has a lot of historical knowledge, right? And, we do want to come back. I get phone calls from people in the district, at high school, even the principal who replaced me. And they'll ask me, hey, can you help me with something that happened years ago, how did this get started?
Yeah, with,
Public history of the origin. Yeah, that's a lot, that's in front of this. Yeah, and so a lot of times I get calls about that, like, hey, when you do you recall?
and talk to some
And how they
folks.
might have said,
Yeah.
because I was there for so long. Good. No, and he taught me so much. Especially, when you gave us the binder, and you were so.
Now, you're not gonna do that binder thing with Lisa, are you?
No.
Thank you.
The binders are helpful. I actually prefer them.
Yes,
But,
please.
I think the binder that's helpful, so there's a lot of information in those, was really. The rating, the one that had the main was the rating sheets, the one that shows the description, the recommendation from the committee, or at least how it's scored. That's helpful.
Yeah,
That was the one. The rest of stuff I can show.
yeah, and Lisa and I will be working on that in October, November, December, because she
And I'm
hasn't
gonna write,
experienced
Reese's
that,
as well.
that whole rating and ranking and, all that.
I've only been on council 15 years. Lots happened.
Yeah, I know that just the stories that we hear. I mean, I'm on the backside of things, so I don't get to work as closely with our participants. But when I get, so I'm on the marketing and fundraising side, and I interview, our alumni to hear their stories, and I'm just like, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, you are incredible.
Right.
Like, the people who come, maybe they've just re-entered the workforce or entered the workforce for the first time, single moms who, rely on one person to provide everything. So different situations, like why not do this?
Creating a team and having
sending that back to the whole org. Nice to meet you as well. Thank you for having me.
My mom's good. My mom says good things about you. That take care. All right, we'll see you guys. Thank you again. Nice meeting you. Welcome to the team. All right.
So it's really nice to hear directly from him rather than from us telling the story. Absolutely, it's still a big deal. But yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Montserrat.
I'm in there. Hanging in, hanging on.
I know you're busy. You got a lot going on.
Absolutely. And yes, please invite us. Absolutely.
We can't. All we can do is make it. City council did. Yes. Yeah, so basically.
Oh, Alexis, no
Yeah,
take,
so
no
we
take.
So we just couldn't make a recommendation to the council. But I was able to at least get on the record that the two items that the board of council for consideration was the home key, which is $850,000 set aside. Available $200,000 for the habitat.
She wants to travel and do so many things.
So we got at least on the record. We couldn't make it an actual action item, but we still have the recommendation from it.
Because I'm gonna do it myself first, and so I love construction.
I called her.
Yes.
Well, I know, yesterday, well, we had the meeting on Tuesday night. And I said, we'll see, I'll see you in the mornings, we were joking, because it was yesterday morning. And then when we got done yesterday, I said, well, I guess I'll see you tomorrow morning. And she goes, yeah, and I said, and I made the comment, it's not at 8:30, it's at 9. And she goes, at 9 o'clock, not earlier. Okay.
I would defer to the,
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to, what I have to do now, helping my mother. My mother-in-law is a widow, she's over here in Tree Vista, but we have to move her house, we have to get her house ready to sell. So I'm going out there today to move all of it. Yeah, it's family stuff, right? That's why I cleared my calendar today.
no, I was saying me. I was going through the calendar. No, no.
Well, I gotta do it. Life happens. But I think we're good here. I wanted to make sure at least we had everything lined up.
Oh,
All right, Monster. Thank you. And you know where Bessie's at, right? Because she sent me a message. She sent me a picture of her son.
I know.
They're waiting in the emergency, they're waiting, not emergency, they're waiting to John Muir for his surgery.
It's really, but the crazy part is that
That's not till one.
yesterday, trying to get his, whatever, the treaty, which was really points, and she's like, so well,
Well, did you hear about the fiasco of Patrick they had in Montana? I don't either. I mean, I saw, I was fun, there's a show called Doc.
try snorkeling
And
or
my wife loves
snorkeling
the
with
show
a
Doc,
light on a
so
line.
I've watched it.
Usually there's-
And there was an episode,
It's on scuba.
I haven't seen it, now, what channel's that on? It's on Hulu, I don't have Hulu, I've seen it advertised. Oh, she loves Doc. Yeah, but there was an episode in Doc where the same thing happened, there was a power outage and the generators went down. And as a kid, I bet that only happened on television.
Did they just renovate?
Yeah.
Geysers.
All right, then.
Yeah.
Good morning. I know. Well, it was too easy.
Definitely, yeah. So it just happened the way it should have, so, smooth sailing. All the things.
And there's really not much controversy in a second year of funding. We couldn't have done this.
Right.
It would have not made any sense
Right.
if it was a new funding cycle.
Right, what happened with Clerk and Andy?
Oh, he was here, but we were sitting in his thing.
Oh, but just because this wasn't gonna be it was just gonna be information on.
No, So here was my thinking. I said, we don't need you. But, and it wasn't to train him not to come, but it was because Licia and I were sitting together up there. I did not want it to seem that Licia was down in the things. I wanted her to be beside me, to be seen as the next leader, and I felt that it would take away if she was sitting in the audience and had to go up to there. So he said, he sits there, and I said, in that case, we don't need you. So I wanted her to be next to me, and that's just a psychological,
Right, no, it makes sense.
yeah. That, well, she can say what she wants to. I'm out of here. But that's why I did it, was because it would not have been right for her to be down in the.
I get it, I
She
mean.
can do it afterwards.
Right.
I mean, Lisa can do it any way she wants to. She can have that.
No, I would've just sat you guys over there and put him there, just because.
See, I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
Oh, so you guys were already set up.
We were already set up there.
Yeah.
He comes strolling in, he says, I sit there. And I said, well, if that's the case, then we really don't. So
Because that's one of the
if that had
big-
happened
it's tight.
beforehand,
Right,
and somebody
right.
would say, oh, we can sit over there, or set up the microphones for that.
I was like,
but
oh,
we
we could've
couldn't
just
do any of
moved
that.
that over
And
there.
I think that's just part of the change in what this is gonna be. They need to support this a little more. We need
Absolutely.
to have a clerking and taking the minutes,
Yeah,
and, they need to have IT support.
yeah, I agree.
You know, the little things.
I wasn't gonna sit next to a man that had a ferret on his head. Come on. Give me credit. Better taste.
He's like, "Ah, we should have like, I don't know, you know,
We don't know, you're just here. Here's, oh, yeah, fine.
He said, all I do is I say roll call, and I say, I'm here, and, you know, and any public comment, and I said, oh, well, we are here doing
we're
that.
there.
But you can have them all you want to, but this, for this meeting, my
I mean, I'm
executive
just happy that
decision.
we got the information out there, we're on the record, and we will.
Yeah, good job.
Excellent job.
Exactly.
I'm gonna watch you on TV now, since I missed the beginning.
Embarrassing.
Why? It's so much fun.
I just kept looking at his forehead instead of his eyes. That's the trick. So like when I just picked the forehead, because it looks like you're looking at them in the face, but you're not.